And welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn.
Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. It's a new year and a new semester here at Eagle Eye, and we're happy to be back. Kitty, did you have any New Year's resolutions this year?
Honestly, Cohen, this year my resolutions are less about myself and more about Auburn sports. I'm really looking for us to take home some wins, whether that requires me getting on the court, maybe the field, anything it's going to take for Auburn to get a W.
That's awesome. I hope to see you out there. I'm hoping that all of your New Year's resolutions, however, are to not miss an episode of Sports Night in Auburn this semester. We'll be here every week at 7.
As the semester ramps up, so does the action, and we're here to talk hoops, rackets, floor routines, and so much more. Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Kitty Diamond.
And I'm Cohen Dalzell.
Thanks for passing it over to me, Cohen. Auburn basketball has been on a rampage as of late with 3 consecutive wins. Let's break down each of them. The men's first win this week came against a strong South Carolina team. The Tigers showed out in front of a sold-out Neville Arena. By no surprise, we saw impressive performances from Keyshawn Murphy and Sebastian Williams-Adams, each scoring 11 points.
In the first half, Auburn held South Carolina to just 24 points on 25% shooting, securing a 30-24 lead going into the second. Auburn maintained that strength in the second, closing out the game 71-67, giving them the confidence they needed heading into their game against Florida. Here is Jack Corbett to show us more from the court.
After a disappointing loss to Mizzou, Auburn men's basketball faced South Carolina and looked to get back in the win column. Both teams came into the game 1-3 in conference play, and the game plan was simple: win at all costs. South Carolina wins first tip, and from there things went south for the Tigers quickly. Keyshawn Hall, Auburn's leading scorer, tallied 3 fouls in the first 9 minutes of play, forcing him to the bench. With Tahad Pettiford continuing to struggle this game, Filip Jovic stepped in for the Tigers and put on a clinic. Jovic scored a game-high 23 points on 9 of 12 shooting and was simply unstoppable in the paint. Stephen Pearl talked about Jovic's performance in his post-game press conference.
You know, Filip Jovic was phenomenal. Philip listens, so we were like, Philip, go score the basketball this game. Stop looking to pass so much. He said, okay, coach. He's really physical in there. He's really bouncy, and he does a great job of just using his body to score on angles. And, he was the difference in the game tonight.
Even with Jovic's stellar play, the door was still open for the Gamecocks. Michi Johnson scored 17 points and added 6 dimes as he kept South Carolina within reach the entire second half. This, combined with the Tigers shooting 2 for 19 from beyond the arc, set up a 3-point game with just 17 seconds left. Some good free throw shooting helped Auburn hold on, and the Tigers came away with a 71-67 win. Auburn is back in action Tuesday against Ole Miss. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Jack Corbett.
Sticking with the theme, Auburn men traveled to Oxford, Mississippi to take on Chris Beard and his Ole Miss Rebels, trying to double their win streak right away.
The Tigers did not disappoint, pouring in 50 second-half points to take down the Rebs for their 3rd win in SEC play. Seems like Auburn has 3 perfect touches when it comes to playing Ole Miss, as the Tigers went to win their 10th straight game against the Rebels.
4 Auburn players notched double-digit points with the Keyshawns leading the way. Keyshawn Hall had 19 points, 11 of those coming at the foul line. But Keyshawn Murphy, he added 16 points of his own and had a double-double, 14 rebounds, while dominating Rebels forward Malik Dia all night.
Now on to the main event. It's a rematch of the Final Four national semifinals in San Antonio last March as Auburn traveled to the O-Dome to take the defending national champs in Florida.
Auburn came out scorching on both ends of the floor, going up 19-5 behind gritty defense and solid offensive play, especially from Keyshawn Hall, who finished the game with 24 points and was Auburn's best shot maker in key moments.
The gritty defense continued well into the second half, even when the Gators made a run. But Auburn fended off the defending champs for a major statement win in Gainesville.
Giving himself only a brief moment to sit with this win, Stephen Pearl set his sights on their return to Neville against Texas. Here's his thoughts ahead of that matchup.
Gonna have our hands full. We're gonna really have to, sit down and guard our yard, and not require a ton of help. So one of the best one-on-one teams in the country as far as what those guards do, and then they have probably the most improved big in college basketball.
Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Now, I know that was a lot of information and we are just getting started. When we come back from the break, you'll get to hear our team's top moments that you missed during the holidays. You won't want to miss this recap. We missed you too. We're calling this segment, Here's What You Missed. We didn't want you to miss a second of the sports coverage. To break this down, each of us are going to share 3 moments that happened over the winter break that you need to know.
I'll kick us off with some gymnastics and some football. The big headline for women's gymnastics is Sophia Bell. Her routines on vault have led the Tigers to being ranked 8th nationally on the apparatus. In this video, Sophia Bell becomes the first Auburn gymnast to land a Yurchenko double. Not only does she land it, she sicks it. Now let's switch gears to some football. If you haven't heard, the name everyone's talking about is Byram Brown, the USF transfer that has followed his coach Golish to the Plains, and the quarterback that just might be Auburn's answered prayer. He has been named ESPN's best portal addition this offseason. You'll be hearing his name and much more, especially with the exit of Deuce Knight and the rest of Auburn's quarterback room. Barrett, what do you have for everyone?
Cohen, I've got some news that women's basketball fans will be happy to hear. Larry Vickers earned his first SEC win in the Iron Bowl, defeating Alabama in Neville Arena. It was a statement victory for the Lady Tigers and an exciting look at what's to come for the program. It was the same week that Stephen Pearl got his first SEC win, the fresh coaching duo earning celebration. A spring sport that is right around the corner, Auburn baseball opening weekend is set for February 13th. They will enter their season with a preseason ranking of number 5. We'll wrap things up with Kitty's update on volleyball and men's basketball.
Our volleyball team had athletes leave due to the portal, and with strong senior class, they have some ground to make up. Head coach Brent Crouch had 3 big portal additions. They each come from a Power 4 conference, the Big 12, the SEC, and the Big 10. Finally, a headline that it might be hard for you guys to miss. Auburn's SEC opener was against Texas A&M, and this shot by Keyshawn Murphy went in. But after review, it was decided that it was after the time ran out. They would have counted it. Auburn would have gotten a win against the Aggies. Fans, let the refs have it after this one, but robbed or not, you cannot deny that the hot streak the Tigers have been on as of late. When we come back from our break, we will begin our Men's Minute and update you all on the rest of Auburn's men's sports. We'll see you right after this.
It's time for the Men's Minute. We are so excited to talk about all things men's sports and give you an update on what's to come. Barrett, I heard you have some men's tennis news.
Yes, Cohen, I do. On January 23rd, it was the Iron Bowl, but tennis style, as the Tigers took on Alabama in Starksville, Mississippi. I'm happy to report that Auburn came out on top with a 4-1 victory. Despite dropping the doubles point early, the Tigers bounced right back, winning 4 straight sets in single matches to secure the win and improve to a 6-0 on the season. The next day, Auburn stayed in Starksville to face Mississippi State on Saturday, January 24th. Unfortunately, the result didn't go the Tigers' way as they fell 4-2. Auburn grabbed the opening doubles points, but Mississippi State responded with straight set singles wins to take the match. Now looking ahead, the men's tennis team will be back in action Sunday, February 1st, as they take on Clemson. We'll be keeping a close eye on how that one turns out. Let's move away from the courts and head to the water. Our men's and women's swimming and diving teams have their own Iron Bowl showdown coming up this Friday, January 30th. And it's sure to be an exciting matchup with the women's team ranked 17th and the men's team ranked 15th. Now, back at the desk, they have more information on men's track and field team.
We'll give you a quick rundown of their upcoming meet for the men's track and field. They will travel to Clemson for the Bob Pollock Invitational. With returners in almost every event, they will look to grow on their personal, meet, and team records.
Trivia time. Time to run, folks. Just kidding, our track and field team can take this lap. Let's test your knowledge on the team. Do you know who was Auburn's last track and field Bowerman finalist? Is it A, Jacoby Tharp, B, Joyce Camelli, C, Keyshawn Strachan, or D, Maka Charamba? We will have the answer to that question and begin our Women's Watch when we come back from this break. 4 of our women's programs are ranked at this point in the semester, which is huge for these programs. You'll see which ones are ranked right after this.
Before the break, we asked you, who was Auburn's last track and field Bowerman finalist? Was it A, Jacoby Tharp, B, Joyce Camelli, C, Keyshawn Straitchan, or D, Maka Charamba? If you said Jacoby Tharp, you would be right. He was Auburn's last track and field Bowerman finalist.
It wouldn't be Auburn Athletics if we didn't speak about our equestrian team. The girls will head to UT Martin this Saturday, January 31st. I am so happy to share that we are ranked number 1 in the country. Great job to the team and this huge accomplishment. Barrett, tell us about another women's team that has been killing it recently.
Thanks, Kitty. On January 20th, the Tigers took on Georgia Tech at home, and I'm happy to report Auburn came away with a 6-1 victory. In doubles play, Myrna Refrat and Angela Okutoyi clinched a big win, taking their match 6-1. On court 1, Ava Esposito and DJ Bennett followed that up with a 6-2 victory. But the big winner of the night was Ekaterina Khayrutinova, who fought back from a 4-3 deficit to secure a 6-4 win in singles. Then on Saturday, the Tigers faced Tulane, also at home, and once again dominated with a 4-0 sweep. The star of the night was Stephanie Webb, who won the first 4 games of the opening set. She then went to win 5 straight set games to start the second set and closed out the match, 6-1, 6-2, giving Auburn a 2-0 lead. The dominance continued on Sunday as Auburn took on Florida State at home and picked up yet another victory, 4-0. That's a huge non-conference win for the women's tennis team. Now, looking ahead, the Tigers will face Oklahoma State on Friday, January 30th, as they look to keep the momentum going after clinching the number 4 ranking. Good luck to the Lady Tigers on the court. Now, let's head on to the green. The Auburn Tigers played in the UCF Challenge presented by PDI at Eagle Creek Golf Club in Orlando, Florida. Auburn finished first place, finishing 8 under in all, putting together a strong performance over the weekend. Standout athletes include Katie Cranston, Molly Brown-Davidson, and Anna Davis. They all shot 69, finishing 3 under par, and all were tied for 4th place. And I'm happy to tell you, guys, that Auburn women's golf is ranked number 7th. Now, let's flip it up and talk about women's gymnastics. On Friday, January 23rd, the Tigers took on Florida at home. After a hard-fought meet, Auburn came up short and fell to the Gators. Vivian Kennel has more details from the sideline now.
Number 11, Auburn Gymnastics is ready for a top-tier SEC showdown against the number 1 team, Florida. The Tigers look to make a statement home in Neville Arena.
Auburn and Florida went to the final rotation with the top-ranked Gators edging out the Tigers 197.1 to 196.7. The Tigers opened the meet on vault, led by a 9.9 from Paige Zandkan, staying close as Florida posted a strong opening rotation on bars behind a near perfect 9.975 from Riley McCusker. Auburn responded in the second rotation on bars, capitalizing to take the lead at the midway point as Florida struggled on vault. Caitlin John returned to the competition for the first time in nearly a year after an Achilles injury and tied for the team high with a 9.85 alongside Olivia Greaves and Alex Irvine. In the third rotation on beam, sophomore Marissa Neal anchored the lineup with a 9.9, keeping Auburn within striking distance as Florida finished floor and moved ahead to beam. The Tigers closed with their strongest rotation of the night on floor, highlighted by another 9.9 performance from Neal. But Florida matched the pressure on beam, taking the lead and securing the road win.
Although a tight contest, the Gators took the victory over the Tigers, remaining the top-ranked team in the nation. Auburn will next face University of Georgia in Athens, February 1st at 5 p.m. For Eli TV, I'm Vivian Kennel.
Coming up next, the Tigers will face Georgia on Sunday, February 1st, and we're looking forward to seeing how they respond. Now, I'm going to send it back over to the desk where they have all things you need to know about women's basketball.
After the loss in Nashville, Auburn made their way all the way back to the Plains to host 16th-ranked Oklahoma, fresh off a win versus 2nd-ranked South Carolina in overtime. Eagle Eye TV's very own Graham Bauer was on site at Neville Arena. We'll give you the rundown of the Tigers' top 20 matchup with the Sooners.
This afternoon at Neville Arena, the 13-7 Auburn Tigers take on the number 16-ranked Oklahoma Sooners in today's women's basketball head-to-head matchup. Let's see the highlights.
The start of this game was extremely balanced and continued to be as time went on. The defense on both ends held their ground well and showed up to play, making it hard to consistently get points on the board for both teams. However, as play went on, there were many key players who were able to split the defense well and create space to shoot. Auburn's Ari Jackson was a threat from mid-range and around the three-point line, draining shots from all around and putting up 19 points this game. Now, to counter her, Oklahoma's Aaliyah Chavez dropped 18 points, getting open through great ball movement and elusiveness to nail three-point shots and mid-range jumpers as well. Not only was Oklahoma very strong around the outside, but under the basket, Reagan Beers was dominating the paint, putting up 13 points and grabbing 6 rebounds. With so much back and forth going on, Auburn's Maya Petticourt was stepping up when it mattered most, hitting crucial shots, one being right as the shot clock ran out of time, and nailing other contested shots. She had 12 points and 2 rebounds this game. With as much competitiveness and speed that number 16 ranked Oklahoma plays with, the Auburn Tigers were giving them a run for their money. However, they fell short towards the end and gave Oklahoma a lead that was too large, Auburn losing by a score of 72-65.
The Auburn Tigers fell short today at Neville Arena by a score of 72-65 to the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm Graham Bauer, Eagle Eye TV.
Unfortunately for first-year head coach Larry Vickers and company, there isn't much rest for the Wicked in the SEC. They continue their 5-game stretch against ranked conference opponents as they host number 3 South Carolina this Thursday, January 29th at 8 p.m. inside Neville Arena. This weekend, they take the drive to Oxford, Mississippi to take on 17th-ranked Ole Miss on the road this Sunday, once again at 8 p.m. Central.
Now, time for some tennis trivia. Here's a good one. How many times has Auburn advanced to the National Team Indoor Championship consecutively? Is it A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 5?
After this break, we'll give you the answer, and we'll close the show with some of Auburn's trendiest moments in Auburn alum that have found their ways to the biggest stages. We'll see you then, and don't look up those trivia answers.
When we left, you were asked how many times has Auburn advanced to the ITA National Team Indoor Championships consecutively? Was it A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 5? If you guessed letter D, you would be correct. That is right, Auburn has advanced to the ITA National Team Indoor Championship 5 consecutive times. Now, let's switch it over to all things Auburn in the pros.
First, let's talk about someone that I miss. Yes, the Janai Broom. He dropped 50 points, had 17 rebounds, made 5 three-pointers, and had a 53% shooting percentage in his G League game with the Blue Coats. But let's not forget another big man in the paint, Dylan Cardwell. He was called up to the pros, the Sacramento Kings, and got his first career double-double with 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block in a great 26 minutes versus the Blazers. It's also important to note that Cardwell came in undrafted. Great job in the league by these 2 true Auburn men.
It's championship week in the NFL, and we had 9 different Tigers competing. Here are our top 2. First, Roger McCreary had 6 tackles in the Rams' 31-27 loss to the Seahawks. He would end his season with 1 interception and 23 solo tackles. Also, Carlton Davis III and the Patriots punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. He had 7 tackles in that game and 4 solo tackles. The Patriots ended up with a 10-7 win.
We'll give an honorable mention to Jarrett Stidham, who stepped in for our other quarterback, Bo Nix. However, his start was short-lived. We'll give our Super Bowl predictions next week when our analyst Kevin is back in the studio.
Now let's talk trending Tigers, and most importantly, drip. Auburn softball has some new uniforms. These Nike fits will definitely swoosh their way back to my top 10 for Auburn jerseys.
Speaking of swooshes, Tawana Bonner surprised the women's basketball team at a shoot-around before the Vanderbilt game. That's right, the WNBA star from the Phoenix Mercuries showed up. What a great surprise.
Let's talk more Auburn basketball. As you know, the men's team got a huge SEC win against the Gators in the Swamp, and it is official. We can now finally boogie on down this win. That's all we have time for today. For more Sports Night in Auburn and Eagle Eye Sports, follow our Instagrams and Twitter pages. Make sure to subscribe right here on YouTube and tune in every single week. My name is Kitty Diamond.
For all of us here in the Eagle Eye studio, Kitty, Barrett, and everyone behind the camera, our producers are Sophia Weber and Madison Seidel. I'm Cohen Dalzell. This has been Sports Night in Auburn. Good night, and War Eagle!